We got a special episode today.
Yes, we do. Super special.
We got the guys on, Pearled and GT and Rolled Up Reviews, and we have a special guest, Brent from Flour Mill.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming on. We've been talking about you a lot lately with the new prototypes and all the stuff that's been going on online.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you for coming on. We all use your products all the time. So we kind of want to let you explain a little bit of the prototypes, and then we'll ask you some nerdy questions because we want to know.
Okay, so you just want to get into where we've evolved to, and basically we've got this thing going from 2019. We launched during COVID in Detroit, and they were like $100 grinder. You're crazy, and I thought so too. But now after 4 years, we took what we learned from all you guys. We dialed it in even further. So my partners are actually automotive engineers and very talented with metalwork and with engineering. So they've taken what we threw together the first time, and we've just dialed it in to the next level. Where the premium model, the best thing about it, and everybody liked, is the fact that you could swap out the screens for different sizes and customize your flour, and that there's no teeth, and that you're milling instead of grinding. But only the premium line had that, and now we have a premium line, but that is in a standard and is also in a mini, so that you can swap out the screens in a smaller version as well.
Oh, that's sweet. I didn't actually know the mini was going to be able to be swapped out
right
too.
And
the
the
mini swap out is great.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So, like when I'm traveling, that mini's amazing.
Yeah, we wanted to have the opportunity to use the best part of the mill, across all of the product lines. So that, and then we redesigned the pollen screen. So what's beautiful about this is it's a straight. Most screens for pollen are woven mesh metal, and this is stainless steel that has perfectly put holes in it, so that the trichromes and cannabinoids get through and nothing else. So it's a filter that is now designed for the product rather than just pulling things that are for other industry and other needs and making them fit for this. We're really taking it to the next step to think through every aspect of the grinder.
Very cool.
It's beautiful. Honestly, I have not seen that done yet.
The end result is much cleaner. The keef is more pure, and there's less
plant matter in there.
That's right.
So let me ask you this question. You said your partners are automotive manufacturers?
Engineers. They make aftermarket race car parts for race cars to make.
Are they smokers?
Yes, but not like us.
Not like us.
And that's
how did you approach them initially, or was you guys were all sitting
Let's get
together?
into it. Yeah. That was, I think, 2019 is when I met them. They were at CannaCon Detroit, and there wasn't very many cannabis events going on in Detroit at that time. So I went to CannaCon after going to MJ Biz, and I saw them, and it was their company was called Royal Health, and it was the product was called the Crown, and they had 30 prototypes. And I left with 2 of them. I was not going to let them leave. I was like, this is it. This is the future. You guys let me know.
They had these, and it was called something different?
Yeah, it was called a Crown.
Okay.
That was the name of the product. The company was Royal Health, and they had 30 of them, and they were $130, made in Arizona. And I was just, since then, they put it in my hand, and I said, when you guys are ready to take this to the next level, let's go, give me a call. And it was a year later that John, our partner from Canada, one of the original 3, he called, and he goes, I don't know if you remember me, but I was like, dude, it's in my fucking hand. I literally have it in my hand. A year later, the day he called, it's in my hand. And I think about 5 days later, I was in Arizona and had written them a check and made them an offer that they could have refused, but they didn't. And I think that was a good move. We all created something very cool as a result of coming together, and that's when I came up with, we changed the name to Flour Mill, rebranded, and came out with a few different products, and really it was just the 4 of us. And we did that for the first few years until I was going to the bigger shows, and it was kind of, the results were pretty good, and the response was good, and business was good, but, we could only handle so much with the costs where they were. And that's when I met Q at HS Wholesale, and that was one of those situations where, this is all self-funded. You know, we've paid for all this out of our pocket. We don't have investors. We don't have anybody else telling us what to do. So we're kind
This
of at
is
our own pace.
HS Wholesale from Chicago.
Yeah, HS Wholesale. That Q is the fifth partner and owner of Flour Mill, and he was the chief strategy officer.
Okay.
And he saw the flour mill. I was like, this is it. I'm like, right? And he goes, and then I realized how little I knew about distribution and cannabis and like that market. And he's dealt with more stores and those deals. There was an opportunity for him to break off and do, I think he really wanted to be part of something that he was really a part of and that he had ownership in. And we vibed really well. And he really was complimentary to where we were lacking talent and skill set. And since then, we've come out with a lot cheaper products. We've been able to dial these things in more, and it's a much bigger picture so that we can handle the collaborations and the business and enable more people to choose milling over grinding.
So what's really cool is I was telling you how I was in the smoke shop industry, and when I started buying vapes at my dad's company, we would buy them, but I never could get consistency of like people chasing brands or chasing quality in that industry. Like it's rare. And I went to Champs and I met HS Wholesale, and I literally started buying everything from them. And I was like, man, these guys made my life so much easier. I could carry like hundreds of SKUs, and they have all of them.
Right.
Like they had the craziest selection.
One-stop
back
shopping.
in the day. Yeah, like they had everything smoke shop, and it was all online on a real website. Like that was non-existent back then.
Yeah, and they're actually the master distributor for Juul and for Red Bull, and for you can go on. And then honestly, I owe HS a lot. They gave me presents when I couldn't afford it, didn't have the capabilities. They put me up on their giant screens and gave me front and center at those shows when I couldn't afford to pay to play. But they believed in my product and in me and the company, and so it was really good.
I say it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, well, there's still
lot
one
more
of
to
our
come.
distributors, and we're pretty selective about that because we have a unique product and we're sold out often. So it's something that we want to not lose who we are and the culture and the vibe and the relationships and the growth of this company. So over the last 8 months, we've taken the time to build out the inventory. I've redone the websites. Those are launching like as we speak.
Nice.
We're rolling over to completely new stuff. We've hired Woodward Movement here in Michigan.
Very cool. Shout out to them. Very good company.
Supporting local for me here. Our company's out of Arizona, so we're doing a lot there. The collabs you guys are going to see this year are just things that I'm really excited to do that I feel like show unity as brands in this movement of cannabis and plant medicine movement. This is a cool way to bring everybody together, bring different brands together. It's through the flower and through the papers and through the professional rollers. You guys are fucking amazing at what you do.
Through the mills.
Yeah, mill it.
It's truly revolutionary.
Well,
It
it's
is.
innovative. Yeah, we got
sure.
a patent on it. That was the first thing I did, was go get a patent and then go knock on Zigzag's door and be like, this is what we need to do. We got to resurrect. And
Zigzag was the first
They were
collab?
the first collab, yeah. And they've never done one with cannabis or a grinder or anything in the cannabis industry in the last 140 years. They are a straight tobacco company that sold papers. And so I wanted to
monumental.
change that. So that was for me that was a beautiful moment. That's when I knew like we've got this, and if we just continue to treat people right, like part of this is yes, it's cool, it's innovative, but there's some learning curve to that that everybody kind of goes through together. But just like anything, you want to have the innovation and the tech now. So our original model only had 10 flutes in the rotor, right? And they would pancake, and it wouldn't finish the certain products properly. So these things originally came off, which on the new design, this one they do not. But instead of charging everybody, we made the new ones and then sent every single customer that wanted one a replacement. And
Which is unheard of.
and they're stainless steel, and they're heavy, and they're expensive, and then shipping and all of that at a time when we don't have any investment money. So it was literally self-funded, and making the mistakes, but not making everybody pay for it. That's the relationship that we've earned.
I
with
think
our
that speaks
client.
volumes for the consumer.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
doing that,
Like having that kind of quality control where like you could have just kept your money.
right.
But you didn't. You went out and reached to them and said,
Yeah,
if you want
and,
this, we're
and
willing
the
to
quality
give it to you.
control is why we ended up coming out, we didn't want to spend the last 8 months redesigning our product, but we learned so much, and we had some issues that we wanted to correct, from misuse and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. These things were made to do an eighth or so a day, not 8 pounds. It's legit. So we decided to take the time now to just redo everything in a better way that will give access to flower mill to more people, lower price points, but can use the same tech. And it was really important to also maintain that premium. We didn't want to be a bottom of the market $5 product, but this technology is so good that if we didn't do it, people are just gonna, that's what the shame in this industry is, that, well, all really, but they'll just steal your technology and things we've worked on years. And it took us, we were focused so much on the premium that I wasn't thinking about ripping myself off and going cheap, but that's what we found out. So instead of like having our attorneys send letters and get all nasty legal with China, like, how about we just work together and have a beautiful PR story, lower my prices, give me a different product with our tech, and it really opened things up and gave us the margins that we needed and the quantities that we needed to speak to to be able to handle the masses.
To evolve, essentially.
Because the demand is real. Like,
it's global.
It's global. It's literally global.
I speak to 5 countries a day that are
touching on the countries.
Really beautiful people that are like, man, it's awesome. Yeah, this plant bringing us all together all over the world, and like hearing you guys have been to a lot of the places that I've been, and Spanibus and all these great events. That's the best part, is the people that we get to do this with and share this with. And like this product, without you guys, it doesn't exist. It doesn't have a place. I learned so much about professional rolling and dialing in this. I'm a joint guy. I don't use filters. I don't use anything. Like, they're pregnant. Like, I'm old school as fuck. So what you guys have done as far as elevating that experience is what I wanted to do with the flower mill. We go to all this effort, all these great brands right here at 710 Labs. We got all kinds of great brands, right? But they go to all that effort, put it in this fucking jar, so it doesn't get ground up, destroyed.
Correct.
So, like, why would you take it out of here and then grind it? The beautiful thing about the flour mill is that the flour herself tells you that this is the right way to do it. She responds. She's light and fluffy. She's easier to shape and work with. She smokes better, burns more evenly, ashes better. The ash is whiter and crisper because of the consistency of the final product. And you're not destroying the trichromes and creating a bunch of hash up top, right? It's just, I think that's like, let her speak for herself.
Yeah. Very well said.
Brent, which one of the countries that you've been to in the past year do you gravitate toward, like, or do you have a best memory from?
Well, for sure, I spent the first part of this year in Mexico. And it was the first time in 2 years that I was sad to leave and didn't want to go home.
Wow.
That's like,
that says something.
I came home and changed my fucking plans. I was like, goodbye country club. Let's get rid of a couple of these boats. Like, let's change my lifestyle here so I could be more of nomadic and pick up and go at any time. From the food to the culture, the people. I did the pyramids. I did the learning. Like, I was walked through the culture in a beautiful way, and that place just resonated with me. And they're open to new things, and I had some amazing meetings. And the flour mill is really desired there too. So it was fun to pick up business and meet people that already knew me, and that, like, showing up and then having people have flour in the ready and welcome you that way was very special. And this brand and this this vibe and culture is the reason for it. So. Mexico, I'll be there more often, I think. And then Amsterdam, I really like that place. I think Amsterdam. I like, dude, it's like the only place in the world I've been that I walk and my feet don't hurt. I have plantar fasciitis and pronation and all these things, and I don't take any other medication other than this. And there, like, until I go to the airport where it's flat again, I'm like, ouch, because everything's round, everything's brick, and like that's where the world is definitely not flat.
So I want to touch on, like, how you're talking about that everything was self-funded, right?
Yeah.
Like,
the stresses of
all of us are trying to build brands, right? And we're early in this thing.
Yeah.
And, like, how is riding the waves of that? Like, I can only imagine at the pace you guys got bigger and how popular you guys got so fast, and then everything leading up to that. Like, how
Well, that's
was
where
it?
you are strategic in the partners and the people you bring in. And sometimes if I don't have the liquidity or the the equity to offer somebody, what I'll do is sell a piece of the company to a partner that does exactly what I'm looking for, whether it's computer science or if it's literally
Engineering.
a scientist or an engineer. It's like, hey, and for like you, it's like, hey, you fill this gap. And I like that instead of raising money to go hire somebody to do the thing, why not partner with somebody that's their company, does the thing, then you get the money and you get that support pretty much for free then, because it just is part of what they want to have become successful. And I think finding the team and the network, I socialize a lot with people. I think eating with everybody is really important. Seeing people, whether they're drunk or high or whatever their thing is, I like going through a cycle with people for a while before we get down. So
like that.
vetting and, there's a lot of people that can offer different things and can help out. You don't have to, pay for everything.
Would have been like
It's hard.
Because you help
do it
people
on
along
your
the
own,
way.
right?
If you help generate business for other people, I generate a lot of income for other people. I generate a lot of wealth for people. So I generate a lot of referrals and things. And so sometimes when you need something, they're not always sending you an invoice because of what you do and who you are and what you're working on. If you're doing cool shit, people want to be a part of it. And
True.
they want to help afford it. And they want to be a part of it. Like, how can I help is more what I get. Sometimes when I'm introducing our new companies, it's like, we rather than pitching for a customer, they want to invest in it. And that's the biggest compliment that I can get. That's when I feel like I know I'm on the right. Oh, yeah. This is a mothership collab with
Show that to the
Flower
camera.
Weavers. Yeah, man.
Beautiful piece.
Oh.
I put some Ravenite mixed with some party poppers in there. I'd say like 50-50 ratio.
Sounds like something for outdoors.
So that tip, you said you got it from Mothership, right?
I got this
telling you
from
how
Weavers.
Much I love Extendos.
Oh, this tastes
Shout out to Weavers.
delicious. Weavers, Turp Basel. Shout out to Turp Basel. All those guys. He was the first person I've ever seen with a flower collab with Mothership, and I had to scoop a bunch of them.
It's amazing.
Yeah, this is the way. This is a beautiful. I don't do the
That's,
rigs
like,
or
best
the dabs
experience.
or the glass, so like this is a way that I can invest in that a little bit and enjoy it. And then when you're hanging out with guys like you that can actually roll it up properly, I mean, this is a win-win. So
That thing
it's
is
like
a monster.
these guys grow the flower so well and put all that time, money, energy from seed to sale, and then why not finish it properly by milling and then using a nice paper and then using an even nicer tip that costs more than all these things put together, including the flour mill and the paper and the time to do it.
Literally.
Super flex.
No, literally.
That's super flex.
What is your preference for papers right now? We all use like multiple papers, but what is your preference?
I really like Elements. I've been using those raw ethereal ones.
The
real-
new thin
Yeah,
ones. Yes.
those are really nice. I'm classic, it's really zigzag oranges. I've smoked my entire life. Those were the first roaches I had at my father's when I was 12, 13 years old. He'd smoke them through a bobby pin, and then the roach would be that big, and then he'd fill
Classic.
a Ziploc bag full of it, and then there'd be a bobby pin with nugs of resin that matched his lips on each side. And you could smoke that bobby pin if you wanted to, but he had thousands in a gallon Ziploc. And I would take all those generational orange zigzags and break them up and roll one out of like 10 because they were so fucking small. And there were these little pinner joints. He just rolled the same joint the same way every day for fucking years. And his stash, when he got low, would be these. And I knew he would never go for those.
This is your dad,
roaches.
right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you've been exposed to weed since you were
I
younger.
was hustling when I was 14.
Is that
in
like your
school.
first entrance into weed? Was then?
No, it was like this dude named Kyle Bent and Dane, and we were hanging out at Charing Cross in Woodward, in the woods back there, and smoked. And I was like, this is it. I was like, I had to buy some. I had to have my own. I needed my own. Where do I get that? And they brought me in this stupid little box that was made for like earrings and shit at a jewelry store. It has a little foam top, and it was like a glass lid. Like nice presentation, but the
For
wrong
sure.
thing. And it was super fucking tiny, and I paid $20 for a nug. Like,
Coin
it was
size,
heck
yeah.
a half of a bowl, and I didn't, we didn't know anything about breaking it up, or I didn't knew nothing. But that feeling, and I smoked with my best friend at the time, Ben, and he's like, nope, and I'm like, yep. I went that direct. I don't think I've talked to the guy since.
Wow.
Like it was that I knew that this was my medicine, that this was something, and I've loved it so much from then on.
For sure.
So I went to Detroit as a white kid in Birmingham and would go get quarter pounds for quite cheap and bring it up to the burbs, roll that shit into fucking joints and Altoids pins and put like 20 of them and sell $5.
There we go. There we go.
Fucking in
The
school,
hustle is real.
like, dude,
Yeah.
that was my thing. And, so yeah, I've just always been a hustler and like selling. And, my first thing I was selling before I found cannabis was candy airheads. I would buy them by the case at a little store called Eaton Market. And I'd take them to school, and I'd buy them in bulk for 10 cents, take them to school and sell them for a quarter. And then, like weeks later, the principal called me down and they searched me and found $325 in quarters. And we're like, Brent, you cannot sell fucking candy to these kids. Like, there was no vending machines then. This is before all that shit, right?
Damn, man.
The next day, I was selling cigarettes.
They said no candy. All right, cigarettes.
And then my clients were smaller, a little bit braver,
A little bit more money.
But because they were free, I couldn't buy them. So it was the markup was great too. All that. And
Eaton Market is on Eaton Street by the
really,
Jets.
that's right. Yeah,
It's
dude,
been near
that's
that-
where I grew up. Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
went to
awesome.
Birmingham. I went to Pembroke down the street, and
Okay.
then Derby, and then Seaholm.
Nice.
Yeah, my first job was at Derby High School or middle school, demolishing it with the janitors that we would smoke with. I was smoking with. After I graduated 7th grade, before I could be like destroyed, I got paid money to get. I would walk across the railroad tracks. I kept a bong underneath that bridge. I met this kid named Jeremiah. Every morning we'd do bong jokes before health class and learn about weed. I was like, this is the greatest. And then lunch class was like home ec, so we'd make lunch. I was like fucking dialed in, right? The school, like, I just like it, I like selling weed.
Yeah, of course. We all do.
Oh, no, that's like a crazy time to come up into.
For sure.
Like, you're secretive in that time.
Well, I never told anybody up until, 4 years ago. I've been more public about this and invested, good money and built more professional operations and coming out, I've always loved it, but it's very private and personal.
Yeah. So that took you're what age?
I'll be 43 April.
Hit it again, man.
Huh?
Hit it again.
I hit it enough. I got
Hit it
fast
again.
enough.
Hit
You
it
guys-
again. You
Jeff,
basketball
did you
shooting
pass this
threes.
over there? Yeah. That is a big doink right there. Pass it back that way, Jeff.
Yeah, after you guys are done with it.
Speaking of big doinks,
Yeah,
if
Big
you're-
Mills.
If you want to
Let's
roll a
talk
big
about
doink,
Big Boy.
What
Let's
a
talk
segue.
about the Big
what
Boy.
we have gone to is not what everybody's asking for. What everybody's asking for is one that'll do pounds, of course, or at least a quarter pound or something.
Yeah, I
But
wanna get put
in
on
the
that
meantime, because going to there, jumping from this size to a 3.5 inches doable, but there's some changes that have to be made, and going that much bigger is a lot of different engineering, and it's a different process. That's going to take a minute, but we're on that too. So this is the stainless steel. Has interchange. Man, did you hear that?
Thing's
I can
heavy.
feel that.
Yo, that'll break a
That
windshield
thing is
for
heavy.
sure.
Is this one stainless steel?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
And it
thing
has
is
the
heavy.
interchangeable plates, so you can swap them out. It does like a quarter, like 7 grams with. I like to say it does 7 grams in an eighth of time, because it's like
Yeah.
I did a quarter in 3.5 seconds, and they recorded. The first time I ever used it was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and we threw a quarter ounce in there, and they re-videoed it, and it was 3.5 seconds. So it was a quarter in an
Plate
eighth.
up here, so crazy.
Yeah, and
for it
those
to
no
be that
longer come
big.
off. And we've redesigned the tops of the mills so that it. See how the old version, there's straight flutes on that. This one, they're pointing back in to push the flower back into the center, so it doesn't come up in a row.
Rather than them all being
Gotcha.
just leveled.
Right.
Then now they're pointing in.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. There's a lot more engineering than even I would guess.
Well,
on this, to be
the
honest.
other thing is the quarter turn off. There's no other grinder because it's double threaded. So just to get access to the main part is normally a 180 degree spin, right? But you can just pop it off with
Okay.
a quarter
I've never
turn.
thought
I've always
about that.
appreciated
So,
that.
Yeah,
it's
but it is
huge.
so
Look
nice.
at that. You can't, and any other one,
Oh,
you're,
yeah?
you're, and then it's magnetic, so it's like super.
That's what's flowering.
Saved a lot of people arthritis.
Yeah, I have it. I have psoriatic arthritis.
Really?
It's a big part of my life.
I'm sure because other grinders, you really are spinning back and forth. You ever saw the video of George?
Oh, I was waiting.
Can we tell him about it?
Yeah, of
It
course.
was what? I think, Julius, how many grinds did you count on George's video?
I think or something. Just going
Just
back
for just to clarify, it wasn't a flour mill in the video.
Nah.
It was 13, I think, 13.
Oh, and were there stems left on top for you, or were those all ground up for you to?
Those
to
were all
smoke
ground
along
up to
with it?
smoke.
The other magic of the flour mill is that if you're too lazy to take the stems off, we'll do it for you. You just gotta. It's a haptic product where you can feel it. It's like an extension of yourself, and you can really kind of tell when it's just almost there. It's like 99% there, and you lift it up, and there's nothing but stems. It's really
That's actually a really satisfying part of it too.
It
I'm
is.
not gonna
That's
lie.
when you feel
I
like
like
a-
that part.
professional.
Yeah, I mean, just also knowing that it's not going to be smoked.
The upgrade of the screens on the mini one is
Oh.
amazing.
Yeah, we upgraded the premium screens as well so that they have rivets instead of
Yes.
the screws. So that's like something that had to happen.
So that doesn't even come undone anymore, right? That comes like that now?
Right,
or-
they're all like that. Yeah, so this is even the new packaging. It's got a nice little velvet action. These are all going to be like this,
Amazing.
and they're going to be sold individually or in bulk because we
Amazing.
found that people, I've learned from the rollers they like this one, which is the second to finest or the finest, is their go-to. I just go what it comes with because I'm busy. But I think that they all work for depending on if you're like Volcano or vaping or using a Dynavap. I think it's really good to go fine. And then when you're going chunky for more coarse, you want that for the blunts and spliffs. In Europe, it's really great because they roll tobacco with their stuff, and you can get a flower that is more of a finish like a tobacco rather than.
Is it like
something-
leaf, or is it more like the shredded tobacco? Like the one I
It's
see
just
them
like
usually use,
flour
like
that's just
shredded
chunkier, and it just plays better with that.
tobacco. Okay.
I like to use that one for like when I roll with the Brothers Leafs. I use that screen.
They're the best.
Yeah.
I
They're the
like
best.
Same
Paxton's the shit. Those guys are
No,
doing it.
yeah.
If you're
Shout out to them.
gonna do it, yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out to them.
We smoked a blunt with their dad.
Yeah. It was
And,
great.
yeah, but they came here. We hung out with them for like a full day,
Excellent.
and there was a lot of weed smoked that day. It was all day
Their
long.
dad doesn't usually smoke, and he like smoked with us. It was kind of crazy because he was
Yeah.
like, we had the rip tip. We had
Yeah.
a huge rip tip, and he couldn't believe how
That glass tip.
the glass tip and how we look at things. He was like, as a tobacco guy, he was like, wow, weed people look at things like this too,
Yeah,
Because isn't he in like
The
the,
tips
tobacco
are
business and
important.
stuff?
yeah. Their family's been selling cigars like over 100 years.
The tips are very important. I think so. It makes a big difference, like using organic
Sure
tip
does.
or a rip tip or a mothership tip or just
Yeah.
any type of generic glass tip.
even Hapa with her Lux rolls, those cones, that's a tip she designed. And now like it's
That
become-
glass one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're really good.
And if you're filling a cone, that's the highest quality cone you could get.
Yeah,
That's
facts.
my favorite. You know what? We should make some fatty collabs
Oh, that'd be really
with
fun.
with some of those. Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
What's you? So you don't have like really a preferred screen then? It's just whatever's in there. You're on the go.
It's whatever's convenient, man. Yeah, I
Right.
have them all over. I'm usually working on only new products that nobody else has, so I'm always, learning.
for sure. For sure. For sure.
Yeah. But what I like to use, my favorite, is the standard. Up until now, these things came out, and I'm like, well, come on. How did we even get away with that? This is really the way. I don't know how you can dial this thing in much better right now for the cost and everything else that we're bringing to the table. This thing is made to do this.
Yeah,
It's
the
designed
premium.
to do this.
I think everyone's ready to see those V2s out.
Yeah. Well, you've got one.
I think
Julius
hands
took
down-
mine.
Have one coming.
Yeah.
Hands down for all smokers, this is the top
Be
tool
on.
to have.
4-1, we should be dropping. We're doing pre-sale orders on it.
Nice.
Some wholesales, and we're having some nice chats with the right people about
Amazing.
dropping that thing. But we're gearing up for being able to do big business everywhere, all around the world. And
Of course.
I was always limited with how much product I had, and we needed to have a good final product, and I think that this is it. And for those people that have purchased the older ones, like I think it'd be cool to do, again, to reach out to the customers on a base, as if you've got a current flour mill or premium version, I'd like to offer them a discount on the new one.
That'd be sweet.
Pay it forward to our fan base.
Can we show everyone the attachment of the big flour mill onto that big mouth?
Yeah, this is
Check
really
that
cool,
out,
man.
guys. This is game changer for rollers.
Yeah. So
I think so.
this is the wide mouth mason jar.
Anthony
attachment
can't wait
for the
to
flour mill.
that 3D
This is the
printed
future,
thing.
guys.
It's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot here. This is like, and it's so
Like-
simple too. So yeah, that's happening.
That thing's crazy.
Yeah, so you can mill right into the jar. We have ones for the regular size too, and it's more than just a product to make it easier to mill into. I think there's an opportunity for glass blowers to go reach outside of the pipe game in the community to maybe doing some really cool stash jars, and that stash jars can become a thing to collect. Like I don't use rigs or do dabs like that. I'm just. That's a lot of extra.
You're pure
for
flour.
me, man. Yeah, I'm a flour guy.
Same.
I want to bring the ritual back. I like socializing with flour. You get into that stuff, it's different conversation, or you're off like the wind.
I agree.
I think it would be really cool to see. You don't really see that. Like, there's restash, but there's no like.
Oh, I love those
one-of-one.
guys too.
Yeah, there's those.
They're
great,
cool.
but, like,
I the day I met him. He was really nice. I met him at the Leaf Bowl in Washington with Ricker and those guys, Leaf Mag. And he dropped that motherfucker on the floor and it didn't break. I thought that was the most beautiful thing. I was like, this is good. And so he was kind enough to let me put out flour mills in front of his jars there and represent inside there for the award ceremony. That was really nice. Those guys are cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
What's your favorite state in Michigan?
My favorite state.
Your favorite state in Michigan?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm
That's a
really
real-
high,
that's
bro.
for
Michigan.
sure. That's a real.
I just
right
hit the
there.
mothership. What's your favorite state in the U.S.?
Zoom it.
It's got to be California. I feel like I know more people there now, and I've explored more there. I've been in places that I didn't want to leave, like physically. The energy was there, the vibe was right. I was like, the weather's better. I don't do well with the lack of sun, and I'm getting tired of it, man. I've been here for 43 fucking years.
For sure.
I'm honestly looking. My house is being painted this week, inside and out.
Heck
So
yeah.
that if the opportunity arises, I can be wherever I
Make
need
your
to be
exit.
at any time. And I think, California, because of the people and because of the thing, the food. But I don't think living there is a really good idea. Maybe the fires and the lack of water and
For
the
sure.
taxes and everything else. But I love this industry so much, and I'm so passionate about what I do that I feel like where should I go? I'm not a southern boy kind of thing, so I'm not going to go hit those states. The Colorado is really nice, but I don't want any more snow in the winter. And there's more events and more people, an opportunity. I feel out there. Like where would I go? I think that's it. So I'm actually looking while I'm going to Ventura County for Hall of Flowers in March. I'm going to be spending some extra days to go.
See,
Uh-huh.
kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like everything in their industry is a little bit more mature. Where like we're still catching up on. Like they have events every night almost. Like every
Yeah.
time I hear
And
them,
their
And I'm
events are
partaking
well
in them, but I like to
structured.
be there for it.
Yeah, they're
because
cool.
we're involved. There's so much going on, and it just makes sense. And bridging that though, but what's cool is you guys are doing something here in Michigan that I think that I've been experiencing elsewhere, and it's creating this kind of vibe and this podcast and the rolling and the interaction you have with your customers and stuff. And you guys are a vibe on your own that I really appreciate. It's nice after having the global perspective of this industry coming home and feeling like there's some people doing it right and representing well. So
thank you.
Thank you, Brent.
Appreciate you.
good job.
That means a lot coming from you.
Brent, first time you and I met was at that Peninsula event at Movement.
Right.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember.
that was a fun night.
It was a great night.
Yeah, you guys were in the back corner, and
Yes, and we were
that's
just
it.
twisting up.
That's how it happens everywhere we go, man.
Yeah.
So I can be in Spain, I can walk in Amsterdam, walk into a shop, and there'll be somebody with a flower mill. I'll be wearing my thing. They're like, "No way." I'm like, "Yeah, no way." And there we go. We're like tight.
I remember George grabbed me. He's like, "Hey, the dude that makes flour mills here."
Yeah,
Yes.
It's cool to roll in because I've been at airports. I mean, I've signed them for people.
love
People
that.
ask me to autograph them. It's really become a thing. I don't get tattoos because why would you put a bumper sticker on a Lamborghini?
For sure.
Hey, okay.
But I think I'm gonna. I think I love this company so much, and I like the vibe and the logo. And I get people like, this is a necklace that was made for me. I see it's become accepted in so many good ways. Like GQ magazine called last week. Like, yo, send us some mills. We've heard about this. I'm fucking right on.
That's wild.
That's
crazy in this industry.
We did the Grammys a few weeks back. Private, like party that's been going on for 40 years. A big Grammy party with all the music producers, and being asked to do that kind of stuff and stepping out more into the fashion and the music and expanding and changing the vibe, the stigma that we've had on cannabis for so long is now going in more in the mainstream, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
I feel like there's a luxury side that like people miss, and this is like one step into it that you get to see it.
It brings
For
it
sure.
back, and then you're looking at everything else like, this is cheap shit. Like,
Yeah.
And that was really, what everybody said is, don't do that. Like, you're too expensive. And like, I'm not trying to be you. I never showed up here to make a ton of money. Like, this
Sure.
wasn't a play. Like, this is what I'm going to go do. This was something that I saw and could not get out of my head. I was like, this has
sure.
to be a thing. Everybody needs to fuck with this.
Just like smoking, like how we roll, same exact thing. Everybody needs to smoke the way we smoke. It's just
It's a different experience.
yeah, exactly.
It gets you more elevated. And also, I think it's just like food. Like, the more you appreciate something, the better, the more you love your girl, whatever, like, the more you're going to feel out of that,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So, again, these guys put a lot of love to get it into this point. Why we need to respect it all the way through. And I think it starts here. It goes from the jar to there, and then, into the best papers possible. Or pipe or bong or whatever.
Whatever your preferred
Whatever
method
you
is.
need,
Yeah.
Put in
That's all
your
she
juice
wrote.
smoothie. I don't give a shit.
I have a question for you. You're from Michigan originally,
Yeah.
right? What if you pick one place to go in the summer in Michigan, where are you going?
My boat on Cass Lake.
Cass
Okay,
Lake?
Cass.
There's in Cass Lake,
I got-
everywhere in Michigan.
Well, it's 20 minutes from my house. Food, weed. I don't like driving that much.
Right.
I like
Yeah.
Torch Lake.
No,
I like
it's
Northern
valid.
Michigan. I mean,
Okay.
I've been here for a minute, so like I know this state. Of
course.
It depends. I'm not a sunrise guy, but Lake Michigan's cool, so I like sunsets. So
Yeah.
I'm big into that. I spent a summer on Old Mission Island by the UP up at Traverse City, right by Traverse, and so it's pretty cool to spend a whole summer out there drinking PBRs and just fishing and fucking around and literally being covered in sand for a couple months is, that's classic Northern Michigan.
Yeah, it's a
summertime
Michigan
in
thing.
Michigan.
That's
shit.
definitely a Michigan thing.
Hitting the back roads and just sleeping on beaches and having fun. That's but I'm not there anymore, man. I got to be close to. I have responsibilities. I got a lot of people that work for us. We've got hires. We got 13 some people. We've got families. People got kids. I got kids. We got stuff to take care of. So for me, it's being as accessible as possible. I'm not comfortable if I'm too far away. I can't take a day off. I work 7 days a week. This is what I'm supposed to do. There's no time, like people calling into the phone. What am I going to do? Tell them to wait for later? I can't do that. It's you have to just keep. I read a thing the other day. Like a billionaire was like, "Wow, I reached out to this company and they wouldn't get back to me. I texted this billionaire. He called me back in like 30 fucking seconds. Set a meeting, like done." I was like, "Yeah, right." It doesn't matter how big you are. You don't have to create some facade that I'm too fucking busy for you. No, I'm really fucking busy all the time. You know
Yes.
that. But I'm gonna make time for you too because you matter and you're part of why I'm busy and that's good. And then I don't have time to play games. I think being transparent and open about your products and your pricing and, I'm not playing favorites. I'm not trying to do terms. I'm not trying to do business the same way. I don't think a lot of people have been respected or appreciated how hard we all work putting our own money into this to be taken advantage of or fucked or lied to or, to change the deal at the end or just rip you off. Like, that's why relationships matter and taking care of your customers matter and putting out and continuing to innovate and push the product. Go ahead. The stuff I see is a couple years old. Like you're going to have to keep playing catch up because we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep going. This is just the beginning. I'm not trying to be a product company. Like we got a lot coming. there's a lot of other things out there I think that could use a couple looksies,
For sure.
It's about as real as it gets, Brent.
Yeah. Business is relationships.
And those relationships are what, like the shit I'm working on today is not where I'm going to end up. That's not the stuff that I'm going to end up working on. There's more to this plant and helping people than just processing it right or smoking it right or rolling it right.
For sure.
We can raise the quality of people's lives and give them their dreams back and get people off of other nasty medication. And I've seen enough to where I want to have an impact in a different way, in a larger way where I can raise the quality of hundreds of millions of people's lives. And I plan on doing that.
You're already on that path.
Yeah.
Canalytics.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for you. Yep, I wanted you to kind of bring that in. So
yeah, so there's people out there that are as passionate about the things that we do, about other things like science and neuroscience and cannabis. All that links over, and there's some special people that I've met on this journey, and sometimes they're too good to let go. You're like, this is it. And Matthew's one of those people. He's a neuroscientist out of Rhode Island.
Shout out Matthew.
Yeah. So for the last half of his life, last 20 years, he's been compiling all of the scientific studies that exist on terpenes and cannabinoids and creating an algorithm that weighs all of them against each other per effect, for medicinal effects and then for adult use effects. And we've got like 30 effects. And it's a way of understanding, it's lifting the veil of what was previously unknown about what are in your genetics and what they're for. What does this ratios mean? What does these terpenes mean? How is that? The terpenes are the characteristics and the personality of the high. The THC and the cannabinoids, all that shit is just how much you're going to feel it. It has nothing to do with the buzz, and that's why we haven't paid enough attention to these profiles and what they mean. And we have very contradicting profiles when this is supposed to be for sleep or this is supposed to be for that, or if you're just supposed to understand what the genetics by name are supposed to, how you're supposed to feel. And we've been marketing to people that way, marketing high THC content. We don't buy our dessert based on the sugar content. You don't choose your alcohol, the drink you're going to have based on the alcohol content. So, there's a lot of science to back up things that I didn't know. And so this has opened up my eyes to what is in this stuff. And then we can take what we've learned from, like you take a COA, that's all we need. You take a COA and output, here's the effects. This is good for diabetes or Crohn's or HIV or, recovery or, whatever the term you're allowed to say is, right? And it kind of, just opens up a whole new world of possibilities for prescribing it and for the growers. We can help with the breeding side of things to understand what your children will be like. We can take a set of seed pack, and if you just grow half of that out, run it to flower, we can analyze that. And once I have those, we can tell you what your kids would be like without growing them all out. So we cross COAs and cross and analyze that in our doppelganger program. It's just unbelievable.
That's going to be crazy for genetic IP.
Yeah.
What you just said for weed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Matthew's really the brains behind that whole thing. I'm just realized something special.
You said he's based where?
He's in Providence.
Rhode Island.
Nice. Mm-hmm. That's where I buy my backgammon boards. Shout out Chris.
Dude, I fucking love backgammon. That's like my favorite game on earth. In
we've
fact,
all
I don't
been
play
playing.
games. I ain't got time for that shit. But tonight, if there's one here, we're playing fucking backgammon.
There's a championship board in the
dude,
back.
I have backgammon boards I've had for 20 plus years. That's like,
How did I not know this about you, Brent?
dude, that's the greatest
Come
game.
on.
This just opened up the
Oh, my
Dice.
gosh.
I have a vibe. I'm all about.
Yeah, it's
feeling
all the
shit
dice.
like,
Yes.
dude,
There's a lot of people think that you can hold those dice, too.
Oh my.
I can't wait.
Game on. Yeah, and so that's the other thing is like, we're always just talking just about the weed. Like, what about the shit after?
Yeah, what else do you do, man?
All right.
Smoke weed and play backgammon.
Yeah.
Or finally, we get to golf Sunday.
Yes.
Golf is, I've just learned today that you guys have a golf course.
Yeah, shout out Rolling Hills, Lapeer. We're going Sunday.
Big
You
shout out
show
Martin
up for
Hanna.
Tea time. Yeah, shout out Martin Hanna. Swing 180.
There we go.
Swing 180.
And so, golf, there's a lot of crossover. We did some cannabis and golf outing events where it was fantastic. It's a THC Open in Massachusetts. It was It was really great. They did such a good job managing it. It went off so well, even with huge storms and everything. We brought Hop out, did the roll bar. We had our Native American friends came and did the drum beats from the different tribes that were indigenous to the area. We had Sensi All-Stars, and then every hole there was like a dab or a different situation going on, experiential, that was fucking great. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity on the golf courses because, the other thing about cannabis that's nice is that it's not alcohol.
Yeah.
Just straight up that.
Basically,
and so
yeah.
what other things would we go
100%,
do
100%.
that would be more fun if you had an alternative other than drinking booze? Or maybe there wasn't alcohol around, because that would be a nice filter for the kind of people that you're going to be rolling with. And so on the golf course, and I think a lot of drama happens because of alcohol, and a lot of people die because of it, and a lot of it's very expensive and all of it. Golfing is one of these private clubs that I go to, I'm a member of some, but we go golfing with our attorneys and accountants, our financial guys, because that's what we do. It's more accepted, man. I always bring the fire. They're like, this is the highest I've ever fucking been on this golf course, and we have so much fun. It's such a different day than starting off with Bloody Marys and Baileys and coffee, and then you're getting into the beers, and then it's like 4 o'clock, and I gotta drive 20 miles, and the sun's out, and kids are driving home from. That's not a good time to be out, especially this day and age. I just don't believe in it. I don't drink and drive. I don't think alcohol is something that, but when I think of bowling or I think of golfing, and I think that's the first thing that pops in my mind, because that's how I was raised from a family of alcoholics, is you're going to have a drink.
Gotcha.
So I think having the alternative to go smoke on a course is the perfect scenario.
People seem more willing to try weed when they're golfing.
I bet people are more willing to try golf when they're weeding.
That's also true.
Probably, yeah. It seems like it the past few years, like golf has blown up, especially in the weed.
Well, they also
community.
closed a bunch of courses in Michigan, though, too. Like, we built so many. There's like 900 and something like golf courses in Michigan. It's just unbelievable. We went way fucking overboard.
Yeah, Devil's Ridge it just got sold. I don't know if you ever played there.
Okay. I don't think so.
Golf I'm excited to. That's definitely one thing we like to do when we smoke.
Yeah, let's do it.
Backgammon to other. I'm excited to hear who's going to win tonight. I don't usually beat George. George kicks my ass most of the time.
All right. It's been years since I've played, so this is perfect.
It'll be great. Pick me up.
What does Flower Mill have coming up in the future? And then plug us up with the social media pages too.
All right, yeah. Flower Mill USA. And then flowermillusa.com is where you can see everything. What's coming up, what's new is, the new websites, having new marketing, I've never done any marketing. This is it. You've met me, you've got a flour mill.
Hell yeah.
Now it's like enough of them got to the right people where their friends want them too, and then their friends want them. And it's like, okay, so now that we're going to actually have some proper videos and have some proper renderings and be, some of the things I got in the pipeline this year, a lot of people will see, and that's going to be awesome. So there's a lot. It's a huge thing. This is the next generation product dropping. I'm doing the pre-sales now. Will be good for April 1st delivery, so everybody will have them by 4/20. Having the new price points, having a $45 retail product, having the minis at $35 retail is huge. I've never had that before. So it really opens up some opportunities for some of those smoke shops and other places that I really wasn't focused on at all. And then I can also give people an opportunity to do the collabs that didn't have the money to spend $38 on per unit to do a collab.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah, so there's a lot. And shout out to Aaron and Jason and John and Q and our team. We got Tim now as a new employee, and Cody, and he's Coco Customs out of Chicago. So they were just in Chicago cutting their teeth on the phones and going out to the dispensaries. And we're building out the sales teams. We're building out something. If it's going to be what we think it can be, I need help. We need help. We've got to build it out. And I just want to continue to innovate, do cool shit that's not been done before. That's
And you are.
Yeah.
And you are.
Yeah.
Shout out Brent. Follow Brent too. Brent
Yeah,
Flower
oh,
Mill
yeah,
right on
follow,
IG.
sweet.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming on, man. Honestly, for us to see this, to kind of hear from you and what it takes to get to this point, we saw this from the beginning, and the growth from it is crazy. For us, we saw it and we were like, man, people need to know about this too. Like when we started grinding with it, and then to actually hear the person behind the voice and behind the company, like it's very cool to understand how many people have to be involved for these kind of things to happen. And
Yeah, dude, it takes a team. And I think the other unique thing is that we're dealing with different folks, like different people built this from a different perspective. And that's something when you talk about building teams and all that, like bring in people that aren't just like us or like mine. Like I like to bring in someone that is the exact opposite of me, and has something different, a different perspective on things. We don't need more of ourselves on the same team. So it's challenging for communication and for, camaraderie. Like, sometimes there's moments where you're very different people. I work with engineers. I'm very different than that, right? But without them, it just doesn't exist.
Right.
It doesn't matter. There's no conversation. We wouldn't be here. So I'm grateful for the ingenuity and the innovations and the way they dial it in. It's really, I'm really proud of this product. This is a fucking brand that should be around long after I am dead. That's my goal. Like I threw it in my estate plan to my kids a couple weeks ago.
Amen to that.
I mean, you're doing it. So thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Super excited
Thank you, Brent.
to have you on.
Thanks,
Thanks
Brent.
for coming.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Spending
Flower
time
Milk.
with us.
Now let's watch you guys play some backgammon.
Yes.
Let's roll.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Peace.